So let's talk keywords for medical spas. My name is Frank. I'm the founder of SagaPixel. We are an SEO firm that specializes in healthcare. And in this video, I'm going to share some basics on keywords for medical spas like yours. So before we really get into it, I want to talk about a common misconception about the way SEO and keywords work that we really need to get out of the way first. SEO is not about take these keywords and put them on the page for me. SEO really has activities that basically fall into three categories. The first of these categories is technical SEO. This means making sure that Google can optimally crawl, index, and understand your website. The second part is on-page SEO, basically maximizing the relevance of the content on your website to the searches that people are performing. This is really where keywords come into play. And the third part is trustworthiness, or maximizing the trustworthiness and authoritativeness of your website, which pretty much has two parts, one being the earning links from other websites, and the other part being a focus on making sure that you have really expert, really trusted content on your website. Now, obviously, given that this video is about keywords and SEO keywords, we're really going to be talking about that second part, maximizing the relevance of the content on your website to the searches that people are performing. So what does that mean in the real world? Well, the first thing that it means is that if your customers are performing specific types of searches for specific offerings that you have, for example, in specific locations where you may have a location or from where they may be willing to travel, you need to make sure that you have content that's highly relevant to that. So in practice, this is what it looks like. Let's say for argument's sake, you are medical spa in Tampa and you do Botox. If your customer is performing a search like Botox Tampa, like you're seeing here on my screen, you're going to notice that all of these pages are specific Botox pages. None of these are like general injectables pages or our offerings or anything like that. So that means that if you're in Tampa and you offer Botox and you don't have a dedicated page, like let's say you have an injectables page or some sort of general our offerings page, you're not going to rank for the keywords you're targeting. A general page that talks about microneedling, Botox, and fillers is simply not going to be relevant enough for any one of those individual queries for Google to deem it the ideal page to deliver over a whole bunch of pages that only talk about the thing that the person's actually looking for. In other words, you're going to need to have a dedicated page optimized around each one of the services that you provide. Now, the second part of that is you're going to need to have pages that are optimized not only around the services you provide, but where you provide them. So in the case of Botox in Tampa, people are probably not going to be particularly willing to drive from one end of Tampa to the other to get Botox. Generally speaking, as far as Botox is concerned, they're probably going to be willing to drive as far as they would for a haircut. So having pages targeting St. Pete's or Clearwater is probably going to be a waste of time for something like Botox. However, medical spas often have unique offerings that someone would be willing to travel a little bit more for, in which case you should consider putting up pages that are targeting that offering plus city queries. So let's say for argument's sake that your medical spa is the only one in Boise, Idaho that offers Morpheus8. It would be advisable to optimize your main page around microneedling or Morpheus8, Boise or Idaho, but it also might make sense to have dedicated pages for some of the surrounding towns from where someone may be willing to drive and where they're unlikely to be able to find Morpheus8. We refer to this as a location page strategy. There is a video on our YouTube channel that talks about this. I'll also include a link below in the description if you're interested in checking out like what that looks like when you do it. So a major part of doing keyword research and executing your keyword targeting for a medical spa is making sure that you have dedicated pages for each one of the services you provide and also understanding how people look for these things. Let's take my Morpheus8 example. There are a lot of people out there that have never heard of it, but someone that's interested in microneedling very well may be interested in Morpheus8, seeing it possibly as a more advanced, more modern offering. A Morpheus8 page, for example, needs to be optimized around microneedling, as well as the head term Morpheus8 plus city. So how can you find these keywords? The answer is you're going to need to learn how to do keyword research. Now with keyword research tools like Ahrefs, you can, as you can see on my screen, you can find how people are looking for these different offerings of yours. I also encourage you to take a look at the search engine results and see what is showing up. In particular, like what these people also ask questions. What's showing up here? What kind of questions are people asking? Google thinks that these questions are semantically related to the topic of microneedling in Philadelphia. You should probably include it. Ultimately, Google wants to give authoritative, comprehensive results, and if your page is covering all of these related topics, Google may see it as providing more value than your competitors. Click on the search box and see what's popping up. These auto-suggests will also give you what Google has gleaned from historical user data, in other words, from past searches that people have performed, to find related topics. So like in this case, we can see that people are interested in before and afters. They want to know how much microneedling typically costs in Philadelphia. By the way, you should probably have blog posts outlining the costs of every one of the services that you provide in the city that you provide it. Google understands that microneedling in Boise doesn't cost the same as it does in Miami. So regardless of the market that you're located in, you have a good chance to get in front of people that are looking into the costs of your different services, which means that they're shopping around. So get in front of them. And in some cases, you may even find opportunities for additional pages that you could add. Like for example, here I see microneedling with PRP. That sounds interesting. You can probably add that as a separate page on your website. Now remember that what we're aiming to do right now is to maximize the relevance of the content on our website to the searches that people are performing. This doesn't just mean like figure out like, are people looking for RF microneedling, or are they looking for regular old microneedling, or are they looking for morphosate by name? I mean, a part of it is figuring out what people are searching, but the other 3/4 of it is what do I need to put on the page so that it's more comprehensive and information dense than anything else that's in the search results. The first part of this is checking the people also ask, checking the auto suggest, taking a look at the related searches at the bottom of the page. It also means taking a look at SEO tools like Ahrefs, like you saw earlier, and a number of others out there that you can use just to find like related topics. But whenever we do keyword research, whenever we're putting together an outline for a service page for a medical spa, we're always taking a look at what is on competitor websites, as well as what's ranking in extremely competitive markets. For example, we'll take a look at a search like microneedling Miami, and I want to see, are there any pages here that just seem like they're out of place, that don't have the kind of like SEO metrics that the other results have? Let's take a look. So as I go down the search results, I'm just looking at this number, this DR. This is a measure of the strength of the overall backlink profile of the website. In other words, what websites are linking to this website and what websites are linking to those websites. This is going to be a proxy for the authority that Google perceives this website as having, and is going to be a huge boost for a lot of these websites. Really what we're looking for though is what are the ones that are still ranking despite the fact that they don't have numbers like the others. In this case, I found a couple of them. It seems like for microneedling Miami, you find a lot of like mid or like high 20s, some in the teens, and then there's a 0.5 domain rating here. I want to know what's going on there. So I'm going to open this up in another tab. I'm also going to open up the previous ones that I just skipped over. And I'm just going to ask myself, like, what has this page done with this on-page optimization that the others haven't? Now, I'm not going to really get into doing keyword research around this specific topic, but basically we're looking for subtopics that they may have covered. We're looking to see, are there features like video or really great photography, or like what's going on here that this website seems to be doing so much better than it really should be given its domain metrics. Obviously, we have to compare it to other websites. We have to take a look at the competition. Overall, I'm just really not particularly impressed. Some of them are mentioning subtopics. I noticed one thing about PRP. This one I see has hyperlinks to different sections on the page. Probably a good feature to have that should be considered in what we're going to be building. This one I'm seeing there's a lot of photos. There are video embeds. Ultimately, we want to know, like, what kind of value can we provide? What kind of information can we include in the page? The goal is not to make the page as long as we possibly can. Ultimately, we just want to see what we can do to provide value to our customers, to make sure that we're providing what Google would deem is comprehensive, information-dense content. So just to wrap up, SEO keywords for medical spas is not about find the keyword, put it on the page. It's about figuring out what people are searching for and making sure that we have pages that are not only relevant to those searches, but packed with information that they can use as they're making their decision, as they're shopping around for the medical spa that they want to go to get whatever sort of treatments or services you provide. I hope that this video was helpful. If it was, please consider giving it a like. And if you're interested in learning more about SEO, PPC, and digital marketing for healthcare providers, medical spas like yours, consider subscribing.